Alright, it's Jason here. I'm with the 2007 Land Rover Range Rover L322. It's a nice rainy day, but my office is closed, so I have a day off work, and I would like to get some projects done. If you remember on this L322, last year I replaced the mass airflow sensor, the Canon air filter, and I have maybe 10,000 miles on the car. I'm getting two things that happen. Some mornings when I put it in reverse, the RPMs drop almost where it wants to stall. Not frequently, but it happens. I also notice sometimes if I make a very hard stop at a light or a stop sign, or somebody stops in front of me, the RPMs will jump down and then pop back up. Again, not frequently. I've never had it stall, but I know that that shouldn't be normal. What I believe is the throttle body needs to be cleaned because there's carbon. There's a little butterfly in there that opens. It's shut by default and it opens and it lets air into the engine. And I think there's a lot of carbon. So the first thing I have already done, actually, I did not video this, was I cleaned the throttle body with CRC Throttle Body Air Intake Cleaner. With that real clean, I'm going to now seafoam the engine like I did on the 2003. So I'm hoping this is going to do two things. One, help with that RPM jump, and two, every 1,000 to 1,500 miles, I've been getting a P05B, I believe it is, code. Let me go back and look at my phone here. Yeah, I've been getting a P050B cold start ignition timing performance. It's happened 2 times. And when it happens, it's usually when I'm on the freeway and I've went 100 miles, I make a stop, and I get back in the car, and then I leave, and I get back up to speed, it pops up. No engine performance issues, nothing. I think, because I can't find anything on Google, it might all be related to this dirty intake throttle body, and I'm hoping. So let me go ahead and dig right in and explain what to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove your oil cap, because you're not going to get this plastic off and really see everything. And then you're going to want to use a 6mm socket, and you're going to want to go in here and loosen all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. They're not going to pop out. They're designed to stay in the plastic. And then you're going to want to lift this plastic up to actually expose everything. So this is your throttle body right here. When I cleaned it with the CRC, I loosened this up. So let me zoom out. With a Phillips head screwdriver, I loosened this up and I physically removed this, and it exposed the throttle body, which opens. You can hit your gas pedal, turn the car to the on ignition, hit your gas pedal, and it will open up that little flap and you can clean it. You're not going to want to unload a ton in there. When it's open, you're going to want to spray in that throttle body, and you're going to want to go ahead and wipe it with a towel. This video isn't about that. This video is about seafoaming. So the reason why I cleaned the throttle body, I was afraid if I use seafoam, it would agitate some of the carbon in the throttle body and just go into the engine. So what I really wanted to do was have a nice clean throttle body. As soon as I did that, I put maybe 20 miles on the car. Man, I noticed a difference. I have to say, there was a ton of carbon that was in my throttle body. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this screw up. I'm going to put the hose into this, past this little electric, so the hose will go right about here, and then I'm going to sew it all back up, and then I'm going to give it 2,000 RPM as I depress the can. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to do that. This is, again, how to seafoam the engine of this 2007 L322 Land Rover Range Rover. I have the seafoam. It comes with this little gizmo that you hook to it. And basically what that means is I'm going to put it inside, so that way it's going to look, the hose is going to go in the tubing and in right about here, right before the throttle body. And then I'm going to tighten this back up with it on, And then what you're going to want to do is ultimately you're going to want to, you know, hit this like so. And when you do that, you're going to effectively be sucking the Seafoam into the engine as you give it 2,000 RPM. And it will take a few minutes, and you should get all the gunk inside of the engine out and nice and clean. Now, one tip here, when you take that cover off, and I should have did this, definitely put the engine cap, I mean the oil cap, back on. I don't want anything to get in there. So to do this, unscrew this with a Phillips head, put it in, screw it back up, and then you're going to basically have the can ready to spray as you're giving it 2,000 RPM. Let me go ahead and unscrew this. Now the reason why I'm doing it here, because I don't want to put it too close to the manifold and that flap to mess things up when it opens and closes, because you know you want it to clip, and then it would basically spray here and suck in. So you can see how easy that was to loosen. And then I'm just going to go ahead and gently pop this off. Be very careful with this plastic. You don't want any of that to break. And you see how I just opened that just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it in there like so. That's it. So now the hose is in there. I'm going to shut this back up. So now I have, let me twist that around a little bit. There we go. Now I have this hooked up in here. The hose is back on. I'm going to tighten it. And the reason why you have to do this, because you're not going to be able to give it 2,000 RPM if it's not getting air. You know, an engine needs air in order to run, and you get all kinds of air codes. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this back up. And then what I'm going to be able to do now, I'm going to be able to put the can back on, and I'm going to be able to apply 2,000 RPM and depress everything into there. All right, so first put your parking brake on. And I'm here, I guess I'm gonna preface this with saying I would probably not do it the way I'm doing it for safety purposes, but I have the wheels choked. I'm gonna apply 2,000 RPM, and I'm gonna do that by, I use a paint stick onto the gas pedal, and then I push the seat forward, and I'm at about, what, 500 right now, and I wanna get to 1,000. So the way I do that is I basically push the seat forward using the electronic buttons with the stick, pushing the gas to get me to 2,000. You can see what I have here is a stick in there, and I can depress and get me right to that temperature or range I need. And then I can go to the car, and I'm going to be able to hook this up and spray. So now I have it hooked up, and I'm actually spraying the Seafoam in with it at 2,000 RPM. So you just let that go just like so until the whole bottle is empty. One other little tip I do, I position the can so that way I can actually shut the hood, and then I can walk around the vehicle and see if I'm seeing anything come out. So this is actually, you know, cleaning everything on the inside, so I can monitor it, and then I can go back and just make sure I'm staying right around 2,000 RPM as that can continues to depress. So that's how you would clean the manifold, Seafoam, the top end of the engine, and I usually do that after I clean the throttle body. So pretty big. So people typically say, do you get any smoke? So let me show you here. I'm going to go ahead and apply some high RPMs. And you definitely get all of that burnout coming out of the car. So that's how you know it's taking it and it's doing its job inside. Alright, so once it's done, you're going to want to go ahead and remove this pipe, which means you're going to have to use your Phillips head and loosen it up again. And then you want to take it on a pretty spirited drive, meaning you want it to do some good accelerations. Not a bad idea to hop on the highway. I'm not going to get on the highway because it's raining today and traffic, but I'm going to take some back roads. And this is a few times I've done Seafoam top engine treatment, and this is the first time where I noticed so much smoke on this 2007 Land Rover L322. First time I've ever done it on this car, and probably the first time in 14 years it was ever done. But I've done it on the 03 L322, and I did it on a Chevy Colorado, and this is the first time I've seen such plumes of smoke. So that should be that carbon burning off and everything else. So we're going to see how this does. I think between the throttle body cleaning I did with the CRC and the Seafoam top engine treatment I just did, I think it's going to help. I've already seen an improvement with the throttle body. I'm going to take this for a drive and see how it goes.